Chapter 16. Then they left Elim and journeyed into the Sin desert, between Elim and Mount Sinai. They arrived there a month after leaving Egypt. There, too, the whole community of Israel spoke bitterly against Moses and Aaron.
"Oh, that we were back in Egypt,"
they moaned.
"It would have been better if the Lord had killed us there.
"At least there we had plenty to eat."
But now you have brought us into this desert to starve us to death."
Then the Lord said to Moses, "Look, I'm going to rain down food from heaven for you. The people can go out each day and pick up as much food as they need for that day. I will test them in this to see whether they will follow my instructions. Tell them to pick up twice as much as usual on the 6th day of each week." Then Moses and Aaron called a meeting of all the people of Israel and told them,
"In the evening you will realize that it was the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt. In the morning you will see the glorious presence of the Lord. He has heard your complaints, which are against the Lord and not against us. The Lord will give you meat to eat in the evening and bread in the morning, for he has heard all your complaints against him. Yes, your complaints are against the Lord, not against us."
Then Moses said to Aaron,
"Say this to the entire community of Israel. Come into the Lord's presence and hear his reply to your complaints."
And as Aaron spoke to the people, they looked out toward the desert. Within the guiding cloud they could see the awesome glory of the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, "I have heard the people's complaints. Now tell them, in the evening you will have meat to eat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God." That evening vast numbers of quail arrived and covered the camp. The next morning the desert all around the camp was wet with dew. When the dew disappeared later in the morning, thin flakes, white like frost, covered the ground. The Israelites were puzzled when they saw it.
"What is it?"
they asked. And Moses told them,
"It is the food the Lord has given you. The Lord says that each household should gather as much as it needs. Pick up 2 quarts for each person."
So the people of Israel went out and gathered this food, some getting more and some getting less. By gathering 2 quarts for each person, every one had just enough. Those who gathered a lot had nothing left over, and those who gathered only a little had enough. Each family had just what it needed. Then Moses told them,
"Do not keep any of it overnight."
But of course some of them didn't listen and kept some of it until morning. But then it was full of maggots and had a terrible smell, and Moses was very angry with them. The people gathered the food morning by morning, each family according to its need. And as the sun became hot, the food they had not picked up melted and disappeared. On the 6th day there was twice as much as usual on the ground, 4 quarts for each person instead of 2. The leaders of the people came and asked Moses why this had happened. He replied,
"The Lord has appointed tomorrow as a day of rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. On this day we will rest from our normal daily tasks. So bake or boil as much as you want today, and set aside what is left for tomorrow."
The next morning the leftover food was wholesome and good, without maggots or odor. Moses said,
"This is your food for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. There will be no food on the ground today. Gather the food for 6 days, but the 7th day is a Sabbath. There will be no food on the ground for you on that day."
Some of the people went out anyway to gather food, even though it was the Sabbath day, but there was none to be found. "How long will these people refuse to obey my commands and instructions?" the Lord asked Moses. "Do they not realize that I have given them the 7th day, the Sabbath, as a day of rest? That is why I give you twice as much food on the 6th day, so there will be enough for 2 days. On the Sabbath day you must stay in your places. Do not pick up food from the ground on that day." So the people rested on the 7th day. In time the food became known as manna. It was white like coriander seed, and it tasted like honey cakes. Then Moses gave them this command from the Lord.
"Take 2 quarts of manna and keep it forever as a treasured memorial of the Lord's provision. By doing this, later generations will be able to see the bread that the Lord provided in the wilderness when he brought you out of Egypt."
Moses said to Aaron,
"Get a container and put 2 quarts of manna into it. Then store it in a sacred place as a reminder for all future generations."
Aaron did this just as the Lord had commanded Moses. He eventually placed it for safekeeping in the Ark of the Covenant. So the people of Israel ate manna for 40 years, until they arrived in the land of Canaan, where there were crops to eat. The container used to measure the manna was an omer, which held about 2 quarts. Chapter 17. At the Lord's command, the people of Israel left the Sin desert and moved from place to place. Eventually they came to Rephidim, but there was no water to be found there. So once more the people grumbled and complained to Moses.
"Give us water to drink,"
they demanded.
"Quiet!
Moses replied,
Why are you arguing with me? And why are you testing the Lord?"
but tormented by thirst they continued to complain.
Why did you ever take us out of Egypt? Why did you bring us here? We, our children, and our livestock will all die.
Then Moses pleaded with the Lord.
"What should I do with these people? They are about to stone me."
The Lord said to Moses, "Take your shepherd's staff, the one you used when you struck the water of the Nile. Then call some of the leaders of Israel and walk on ahead of the people. I will meet you by the rock at Mount Sinai. Strike the rock, and water will come pouring out. Then the people will be able to drink." Moses did just as he was told, and as the leaders looked on, water gushed out. Moses named the place Massah, the place of testing, and Meribah, the place of arguing, because the people of Israel argued with Moses and tested the Lord by saying, "Is the Lord going to take care of us or not?" While the people of Israel were still at Rephidim, the warriors of Amalek came to fight against them. Moses commanded Joshua,
"Call the Israelites to arms and fight the army of Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand at the top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand."
So Joshua did what Moses had commanded. He led his men out to fight the army of Amalek. Meanwhile Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of a nearby hill. As long as Moses held up the staff with his hands, the Israelites had the advantage. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites gained the upper hand. Moses' arms finally became too tired to hold up the staff any longer. So Aaron and Hur found a stone for him to sit on. Then they stood on each side, holding up his hands until sunset. As a result, Joshua and his troops were able to crush the army of Amalek. Then the Lord instructed Moses, "Write this down as a permanent record and announce it to Joshua. I will blot out every trace of Amalek from under heaven." Moses built an altar there and called it,
"The Lord is my banner."
He said,
"They have dared to raise their fist against the Lord's throne. So now the Lord will be at war with Amalek generation after generation."
Chapter 18. Word soon reached Jethro, the priest of Midian, and Moses' father-in-law, about all the wonderful things God had done for Moses and his people, the Israelites. He had heard about how the Lord had brought them safely out of Egypt. Some time before this, Moses had sent his wife, Zipporah, and his 2 sons to live with Jethro, his father-in-law. The name of Moses' first son was Gershom, for Moses had said, when the boy was born,
"I have been a stranger in a foreign land."
The name of his second son was Eleazar, for Moses had said at his birth,
"The God of my fathers was my helper. He delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh."
Jethro now came to visit Moses, and he brought Moses' wife and 2 sons with him. They arrived while Moses and the people were camped near the mountain of God. Moses was told,
Jethro, your father-in-law, has come to visit you. Your wife and your 2 sons are with him.
So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law. He bowed to him respectfully and greeted him warmly. They asked about each other's health, and then went to Moses' tent to talk further. Moses told his father-in-law about everything the Lord had done to rescue Israel from Pharaoh and the Egyptians. He also told him about the problems they had faced along the way, and how the Lord had delivered his people from all their troubles. Jethro was delighted when he heard about all that the Lord had done for Israel as he brought them out of Egypt.
"Praise be to the Lord,"
Jethro said,
"for he has saved you from the Egyptians and from Pharaoh. He has rescued Israel from the power of Egypt. I know now that the Lord is greater than all other gods, because his people have escaped from the proud and cruel Egyptians."
Then Jethro presented a burnt offering and gave sacrifices to God. As Jethro was doing this, Aaron and the leaders of Israel came out to meet him. They all joined him in a sacrificial meal in God's presence. The next day Moses sat as usual to hear the people's complaints against each other. They were lined up in front of him from morning till evening. When Moses' father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said,
"Why are you trying to do all this alone? The people have been standing here all day to get your help."
Moses replied,
Well, the people come to me to seek God's guidance. When an argument arises, I am the one who settles the case. I inform the people of God's decisions and teach them his laws and instructions.
This is not good.
his father-in-law exclaimed.
You're going to wear yourself out, and the people too. This job is too heavy a burden for you to handle all by yourself. Now, let me give you a word of advice, and may God be with you. You should continue to be the people's representative before God, bringing him their questions to be decided. You should tell them God's decisions, teach them God's laws and instructions, and show them how to conduct their lives. But find some capable, honest men who fear God and hate bribes. Appoint them as judges over groups of 1,000, 150, and 10. These men can serve the people, resolving all the ordinary cases. Anything that is too important or too complicated can be brought to you, but they can take care of the smaller matters themselves. They will help you carry the load, making the task easier for you. If you follow this advice, and if God directs you to do so, then you will be able to endure the pressures, and all these people will go home in peace.
Moses listened to his father-in-law's advice and followed his suggestions. He chose capable men from all over Israel and made them judges over the people. They were put in charge of groups of 1,000, 150, and 10. These men were constantly available to administer justice. They brought the hard cases to Moses, but they judged the smaller matters themselves. Soon after this, Moses said goodbye to his father-in-law, who returned to his own land.